All right, welcome to the podcast. On today's show, we're talking to Project ReWear. Thanks for joining. For the people who don't know, either one of you can take this. What's the company do?
Yeah. Well, hi, my name is Kim. Nice to meet you. Kim from Project ReWear. And we started a company called Project ReWear to empower families to make more conscious choices with their clothing. We're basically two moms who saw too much waste, came up with one big idea.
So there is a ton of waste when it comes to retail. Like a lot of it ends up in some random countries that we know about, or otherwise these brands don't want to diminish their brand value. And so doing clearances or things like that is of no value to them. And so it just goes wasted. But what originated the idea? Was it like there's a good documentary out there now around this, like waste and the whole thing. But what was the thing you guys were seeing?
Well, the story is I was in wealth management for 24 years, which is obviously very far removed from fashion and sustainability
and
now.
Entrepreneurship.
Yeah, became partner. I grew the business horizontally. I always said we are a human capital business that just so happens to do wealth management, but it was never my passion.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was never my passion, but great people, and I learned a lot. I sat in every single position as we grew and hired people, and what I learned from there is problem-solving skills and strategy. But when I turned 50, got divorced, always knew I had a passion for fashion.
That's a good line.
Yeah, but I always knew I wanted to make a difference. And when I had kids, both of us, we both have teenage kids. We want to make sure there's a future for our kids. We want to make sure that their kids have a future. And so every season I would clean out my kids' closets, my boys, and I would see tags on it, brand new tags on it, or I would see that every two or three times they wore it 2 or 3 times, piles and piles. And then I was like, oh my God, something has to be done about this. So even prior to meeting Linda, my amazing business partner, I started going to thrift stores and doing research. And I saw the enormous amount of quality clothing at thrift stores, but also the enormous amount of fast fashion brands with tags on it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, there's something here, so I just started buying. I didn't have a plan. I did the exact opposite of what I was taught when I worked in wealth management. I just took a gamble, I followed my gut, and I knew something was going to happen. I just knew I would come, and we pivoted a lot, but it's just what we've gone to. And then I went to Penn, took a course on social impact, came back, volunteered at a thrift store, and that's where I met my lovely business partner, Linda.
You said something. So you said you turned 50 and you were getting divorced. Mm-hmm. And so you're entering, I guess the divorce just being like a traumatic event for most people. Or it can be. What was that something where you're like, I need to change my life? It was like a moment where you were like, I need to follow a purpose. Like what spoke to you? You said it in a way of like, maybe you saw something bigger for yourself.
Right. I think my boys were coming to an age where they didn't need me all the time.
Okay.
And I was not I was in a marriage that obviously it takes two. It just wasn't working. So once I was able to release myself from that, I was able to really take the time and find what made the most to me and matter to me and where I feel like I can make a difference for myself, for our kids, and for the planet.
I love that. And then you followed it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
How do you come into the story?
So I'm actually the president of a nonprofit thrift store, and Kim came in.
I thought you were going to say of a country.
To shop. Well, it could be that too.
I was like, I knew it.
Kim came in to shop, and we just kind of hit it off, started talking about fast fashion and the world of thrifting and all this sort of stuff, and she was telling me her ideas, and being that I have a really strong retail background, I'm like, well, let's go have coffee, let's connect, let's sit and see what we can come up with. She already had a lot of things going on and ideas, but we sort of just sat and refined everything and came up with this idea of, we really need to change the mindset of people that don't thrift and bring that world to them. Like, how do we get people that don't thrift or have this stigma with thrifting and make it be the first thing they want to do when they shop?
Yeah. How do we change the narrative?
How to change that whole dynamic.
Yeah. And then how did you go about doing it? So what did you guys see that you agreed on and other things like, because there's a million ways to do this, I think, or at least launch. And there's probably a lot of wrong ways of doing this, interesting ways of doing it in terms of marketing and stuff. So how did you guys figure out like the angle you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, so we sort of, because I've come from that world of like seeing what happens behind the scenes at thrift stores and what happens with donations.
Wait, what happens behind the scenes?
There's a book there. There's a book.
Feels like a murder mystery in my head, a crime novel.
So, You know, I saw a lot of the stuff that would happen behind, and like all the stuff that would still go to landfills and go to waste that we didn't use.
Okay.
Or, you know, I'm like, there has to be some way that we can keep more of that and
So
keep
there's
that
still a lot of
circular,
waste. Okay.
keep that circular movement going.
Okay.
We're still sort of launching some of the things because we're only 6 months old. So we're really new.
Yeah.
But the whole goal is to change the world of donations and how, you know, having that transparency of donations and how you, when you give your donations, what exactly happens to them and where do they go and how do we make that, you know, a long period of time that a piece of clothing can last. Keeps having a story, going to the next person, until you just can't, you know, until it's so worn out you can't.
Yeah. But with donations, I mean, I would say it started 2 years ago. Like, I just woke up and started doing it, bought now probably close to 50,000 items personally.
So what were you doing when you'd buy them? What would you do?
I would take a chair, I would do focus groups, I'd sit in thrift stores all across the country, have a notebook, I'd learn fabrics, I'd learn brands.
Okay.
I would watch trends, I would, you know, we have focus on what are infants wearing, what are toddlers, what are teens.
Wow.
And it's so different across the board.
That's cool.
But where I mentioned I'm a big, fearless, right, is who would go out, spend lots of money buying close to 50,000 items of clothing and not know if it's going to sell, what the style is, anything like that. I love fashion. I feel like, I don't know, I just had this gut feeling.
It was your grandma that
It was
set
my
you off
grandma,
on
you're
this
right.
path,
Yeah,
right?
because she used to volunteer at the American Cancer Discovery Shop for over 20 years in LA.
Okay.
I lived in suburbia, but I would come out like every weekend and see her. She was like a mom to me. And she passed away a couple years ago. And a month after she passed away is when I came up with this idea. And I feel like she kind of handed the baton to me.
Wow.
So I even made she had this old vintage leather jacket, and she always loved ketchup. So I found this really cool ketchup shirt at a thrift store, and then I had it sewn on the back of her favorite leather jacket. And I actually wore it at the first fashion show I did with thrifted clothes.
It's like heaven sent the whole thing in some way for you.
Oh,
That's so cool.
And I keep saying to Linda, and I'm sorry, I know I go off tangents, so you can redirect me anytime.
Happy to do it.
And I talk really fast when I'm passionate.
Okay.
Do you want to hold up a sign and just say stop?
No, keep going.
Okay. But I keep telling Linda that
She's gonna
when
cry.
I left,
She's gonna
when
cry
I
soon.
and I'm not one to typically cry.
Yeah.
Well, am I? No, not really.
This story feels right for it in some way. I mean, that's...
Should I try?
It's very personal. No, I mean, I just think like entrepreneurship in general is like the way I look at it, and the reason I like it so much is, and even this podcast is like a form of it's like therapy in some way. But the other side of it is, it really forces the human being to discover who they are and like what matters to you, what doesn't matter to you, what you're good at, what you're willing to get better at. And in some way, I look at it like it's a human testing ground, and it'll test almost like parenting. I think parenting is like that too. You enter this world, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know the nature of your children. You know the nurture to some extent, and you're figuring it all out in real time. And I think entrepreneurship is like the elected version of that.
Yeah, and it's listening. It's being fearless, but with your eyes wide open.
Yeah.
Right, and listening and making lots of pivots. And you're going to make mistakes. You're going to spend money in a lot of areas that maybe weren't the right area. But it's all about the learning. And if you're everybody always says you just got to be passionate about something. And it's the first time, besides having my kids, and I think you agree, that I'm so passionate about it. I mean, to the extent that sometimes when customers come in the store, because we kind of tell the story, some of them maybe that don't even speak English, and I'm trying to tell them the story because I'm so passionate about it. It's like, she's like, Kim, some of these people don't even really want to hear the story. I'm like, no, they do. They really want to hear this story.
Yeah.
But I'm so passionate that I would never, after getting out of this business, if I was like, okay, I want to go find another job, I would rather spend every penny I've earned for the last 24 years on this mission and this business and generating awareness than having it in my savings for my future, even being a single mom. That's how much.
You're free in that space. Yeah.
You just wake up living, eating, breathing it, but it doesn't feel like work at any time.
Yeah.
Texting each other at night.
It's part of you, you know, it's part of who you are.
Totally.
And
See, it's even on my nails.
I guess
Oh, I like that ReWear on your nails. That's really
Yeah.
cool. The commitment is
I
strong.
guess when we both turned 50, it was like we just realized who we are.
I really love that. It's your personal journey. Okay, so then let's go to the business side of it. So at some point, your wealth management hat must come on, right? And say, okay, how are we going to make this thing profitable? How are we going to make money? It seems like the costs have been figured out, at least. Like you know how to control the costs.
I have to control her costs.
So no, in a typical environment, yes, I would, and it's not like I didn't put some numbers together, for sure. And now I have a financial strategist, and we're doing forecasting and the whole thing.
Yeah.
He helped us when we got acquired as well, and I worked closely with him.
Okay.
But because it's such a different model, it really is. No one would be this crazy to do what I'm doing.
It's a hard model. Yeah.
It's a hard model. It's hard because it's something that's not been done. If we'll explain it. It's volume based first. So it's volume, it's people first, profit second, which I get it. You have to be financially sustainable. Thank God Linda's there, because I'm just forking out all this money all the time. However, it's purpose driven, and because it's volume based, it kind of goes back to when I told you in the beginning. If I had investors or silent investors or whatever, everyone's going to be having their say right now and tell me, you've got to go this way, you've got to go this way. I will tell you right now, if I was told anything that I had, any direction I had to go at this point, we would not be where we're at. And we've actually been pretty successful already in 6 months, which is, we've saved over 1,300 pounds from the landfill. We'll explain that after.
Yep.
And we're hiring new people, we're growing. We just got a warehouse, signed a lease last week.
Congrats.
It's amazing, but it's all about the quantity of clothing and the volume. It's not about let's charge a higher price and try to get that margin.
Yeah.
Let's get more clothes out, ones that are maybe hand-picked, stylish, good brands, most of them, and affordable. Let's get that out, since over 80% of what's donated to thrift stores still ends up in landfills or sent overseas. So if you see most thrift stores, and I understand it, they're all community focused, charitable focused, but if they're keep increasing their prices, but yet 80% of what most of them get, especially the larger ones, still end up in landfills or overseas, is that going to help this problem?
Right.
No.
Right.
Now, we are just one little tiny blip on this huge, complicated problem. But you know what? Small actions can eventually create big impact.
So your metric is tons. That's interesting. You didn't say dollars. You said 13,000 tons that you're saving.
Oh, 1,300 pounds.
We've saved 1,300 pounds from the landfill in 6 months.
You can explain the
of
project.
textile waste. Yeah. So we have a landfill program.
Yeah.
So when people shop in our store, we actually weigh all the items by weight. So weigh all the items by weight.
Yeah.
And collectively, we've saved 1,300 pounds in the 6 months from people shopping.
Yeah.
Right. So we're trying to, we're very big into community and having everyone be involved in it. So when people see what they're doing and how that impacts landfills and saving the items, that's where we come from. We come of a place of,
that's interesting.
how do we do this together?
Yeah.
So sure, Kim's the founder, I'm her business partner, but how does everyone come together and do this as a group?
Yeah.
So, when we talk about profit, we don't think about profit, because my background is retail of 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've always led from a place of, I want these people to be my friends. I want them to be my family when they come in. Let's have a good time. Let's have a laugh. The profit comes because you make them feel welcome. You make them feel good. You make them feel like they're doing wonderful things. And people want that. People yearn for that.
Yeah.
They want to feel good about what they're doing.
The finance Excel sheet guy listening is going crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
to
yeah.
hear you say this. But in some way, you're very right.
But we don't,
And
we
this
don't
is
look
actually
at
what I like about fashion or art. It really speaks to if you move somebody, that's kind of all, that's enough. And the price is the price, and no one really cares at some point.
Right.
Yeah. And so, this goes back to the wealth management thing, the human capital. You're just touching on the human capital, and it's full circle. People vote with their dollars, whether on the mission or literally, in this case, to get a T-shirt or something like that.
I always looked at it as, in wealth management, that the team that I built horizontally, they were my clients. So I might have not been the advisor, even though the advisor would have clients.
Yeah.
But the team was my clients, because without the team and these clients, you couldn't have the rest of the business.
Yeah.
And so that's how we kind of are trying to grow now. We've been in the middle of hiring and got some great people.
What's the hard part? Is it the awareness piece? Like, what's the hard part today as a business? Is it just getting people to understand the mission?
Yes.
And then get behind it?
I think so. I think it's hard changing people's mindsets on thrifting because there really is just still such a stigma with it.
What is the stigma?
The stigma is, okay, thrift stores are dirty, smelly, gross. I don't want to go there. You know, for a lot of people, I'm not... I'm generalizing. But being from Australia, there was a woman in the 1920s. This is a very interesting story. They were called thrift stores. But she could see that there was a problem with what they were called. And it's like they had a stigma already. So she decided to change the name to opportunity shops. So people felt like they were coming in for an opportunity. So you come here, there's opportunities in here to be gotten. So she changed the whole dynamic of thrifting in Australia.
Interesting. And it helped. More people went.
People now it's like a normal thing. Like there's still some stigma there too, but it's way more normal than in America.
Yeah. It kind of got cool in LA.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It became like a thing.
Especially among the teens and Gen Zs. But here's what's interesting. So I love the opportunity shop. So we were going to put it on the front of our window, and we still will.
Yeah.
But because people aren't as familiar with it out here, and now that we're doing SEO, I was thinking about it too.
Yeah.
Is you have to look at those keywords and what everybody's searching for locally, right? But if no one knows
what
opportunity
it is,
shop, you have to be a little bit careful. Now it's like a fine line of wanting to think outside the box and have something new, but also still sort of follow the normal social or the normal processes.
Yeah,
you want to be put into the right bucket. And so do you guys view every location, so instead of profit, as like, okay, one store saves this many pounds, basically?
So we only have
at the moment, right?
One store right now. However, I had rented a 700 square foot space, tested it out with kids' clothes, did that for a little while, for like 3 or 4 months. Wanted to feel it out. It was great. 6 months later, the brick and mortar store. Now 6 months later, the warehouse. The brick and mortar store and the warehouse, we're creating a blueprint. We're creating systems and processes. We already have enough clothes that we could even open up another store in another city. So we're trying to create this blueprint and replicate it in other cities. And in the marketing side of it, a big part is the landfill project. So what she mentioned.
Yeah.
So what we do is instead of spending a ton of money on marketing, we have a board. It's a whiteboard. And since we weigh every purchase, we put the weight on the whiteboard, and it has our handle and all that.
In the store?
In the store.
Okay.
They take a picture. They tag us. They take a picture of the whiteboard. They don't have to be in it.
Yeah.
And they share it on their story. Then they get 10% off their purchase that day.
Really smart.
Thank you.
It's a bit of a movement.
We're not a store. We're trying to create a movement. I read the other day, we're not just trying to sell hangers. We're trying to sell a movement.
Yeah. That's really smart.
Yeah.
When I had Cake's Body on the podcast, they do nipple covers. They were on Shark Tank. They're like $120 million business now.
Yeah.
But when we had them on before they blew up, and then after. So on the first time, I was hearing their business, and it was like they were empowering cancer survivors, women in general. Like this was an issue for either a nice dress or at the gym or all these things. And then they had formed a community of like people who were just ambassadors almost, but they held events with them and really created like these communities. And I was convinced. I'm like, it's a movement. It's not a business.
Yeah.
It's just it's a movement that makes money, and therefore in America we call that a business.
Yeah.
But it's not that. And it was incredible. And then no surprise, it's a $120 million business.
Wow.
It also makes you think different, I think, as a founder when you're running a movement, because it's bigger than you and it focuses you on the right things. Right.
I know. And I never
See,
believed
she thought I was intimidating.
you
You have
know.
goosebumps. Look at
Yeah,
this.
seriously.
It's big
I
softy
know.
over here, guys.
You
Come
might
on.
even, as we walk out the store, I might even say, I give you a thumbs up.
I've been dying for one of those.
But we were just so fortunate. I don't know. It's just so weird. It's like all the stars started aligning.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's just following the passion. You just start meeting the right people. Even with the warehouse yesterday, we got this amazing customer that came with his family, and he does a lot of amazing artwork and graffiti work for athletes and celebrities. And he offered to do, because we want to do
mural
something
for us.
cool in our warehouse, like graffiti mural.
Yeah.
And it just, all these things start progressing, and and we're so humbled by the community and how amazing they've been. We have people wanting to volunteer. We're not even a nonprofit on the nonprofit, but technically we are almost a nonprofit. Just don't get the charitable or the tax deductions right now.
Sure.
But We get people that are wanting to donate. We didn't think people would want to donate
Yeah.
since we weren't a nonprofit. But we're getting
Donate
people
money?
donate clothes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So now we're
That makes
starting
sense.
to do that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in the beginning, I didn't think, why would people want to donate? But of course, think of that. That's a great business model, and that goes
100%.
exactly back to where Linda was talking in the beginning about donations. Hey, you don't even need to ask me questions. I'll just go on and on and on. I realize you haven't
Don't
probably
worry.
asked 3 questions.
Nick's doing the editing, not me.
Okay.
Can you leave for a while?
Yeah. Sorry.
But okay, well, let's in a real way, like, I mean, you're saying so many things here, but how do you view scaling this? Like, how do you view, is that why you were asking about the coffee shop in the front, or is there a component where you're thinking like, oh, maybe you do coffee shopping in the back, or maybe a collab where it's like coffee and Project ReWear in the back or something
Well,
like
actually,
that?
you can go. I don't want to.
We've always, we've got so many dreams and things that we can do with this, right?
Sure.
So we have visions of like having malls where everything is thrifted.
Oh, wow.
So
That's cool.
Malls
go
are
to
going away.
You go to the mall and everything's recycled and repurposed.
Whoa.
It's all the kids.
It's
want.
not a
That's
typical.
actually a really cool idea.
Yes.
I had not even considered it. And
You might want to
You
talk
want
to
to
us later.
invest?
I mean, are you?
Well, I can't.
I
can't
mean,
listen to
yeah,
anybody.
it's like, we go to malls now. The mall is like a big thing for kids, right? They want to go to the mall. Everyone wants to go to the mall to
And
get
so-
their clothes.
That's a
Especially when
big
you live in
idea.
suburbia.
I actually love this.
So
That's
all
a
the malls
big
are going
idea.
away, all those stores. But you think about it, because we did a lot of focus groups. Teenagers, okay?
Yeah.
They are influenced by social media, right? And all the
Yes.
trends.
Yes.
And that's like, my sons or your kid, oh, Mom, look at this. They're wearing these wide leg pants, and I need these Adidas shoes
Yep.
and blah, blah, blah. Great. But if they're influenced by influencers online, they can be, and then when they want to go find these items at H&M or whatever, they feel like they have to go to a mall. They have to go do exactly what their friends are doing, right, to find it or order it online. But it's just the movement of it. If you can make the back end,
Yeah.
so if it's like thrift store or thrifting or things like that, or we're in the middle of launching our e-commerce soon as well, and we can explain that. But if you can just change the back end, but still understand the movement of the Gen Zs,
Yeah.
it's a win-win. It's just reversing their mindset.
I think they're there. But how do you guys market this, like, in a real way? How do you guys, like, are you on TikTok? Like, how do you get people to understand? Like, how do you get the Gen Z? Like, who's your customer now? Who is that person?
Well, in the very beginning, because when you can say it where we picked our spot. Why don't you talk?
Oh, so we picked the brick and mortar store that we have.
Yeah.
Because there's other thrift stores around.
Okay.
So we wanted to make like a little thrifting community where you could walk
Got
to
it.
each thrift store, and people that thrift already,
Yeah, they're already there.
they want to come to where all the thrift stores are.
This is so fascinating.
So we
Okay.
chose a spot where we're surrounded by two other thrift stores, which is big for where we are.
Yeah.
You know.
suburbia.
Okay.
So-
and then who was your customer? So age-wise, demo.
So we're trying to capture obviously the market of non-thrifters
Yep.
and really get that turned around. I would say, our demographic is higher income people, because that's typically where
That's interesting.
higher income people don't want to thrift, or maybe they don't need to, right?
Okay.
Because thrifting started out with a need.
Okay.
So people that couldn't afford clothes
Right.
were the ones that were thrifting.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's right now we're in a trend of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to change that whole dynamic of like higher income people that the first thing they want to do is go and thrift. Because there's already cool stuff out there, like stuff with
Yeah,
tags, like
totally.
cool brands. Like you don't need to go to a regular store to buy stuff.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, if you want to be unique and cool, thrifting is where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want
Yeah.
to go to a store and get the same thing that 50,000 people have.
Totally.
That's boring to me, you know?
I agree with that.
I want to
Yeah.
get something that's cool and unique and maybe from the 70s or the
Mm-hmm.
60s or whatever, So
You just try to feed that need of being
Yeah.
stylish,
Yeah.
impactful, easy, and affordable, period. And
Yeah.
so you meet different target niches. You might be that some just want convenience. You meet some want impact.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
is the higher net worth people that typically that's our goal, and we're starting
Sure.
to see that now.
That makes sense. One of the things we're doing at the sports bar that we'll open is we're going to have like a vintage tea night. And it'll be like a vintage tee, like a
Love
thrifted
that.
T-shirt, but it'll be of like your favorite sports team.
Oh.
And so it'll be a kind of a vibe, because
love
and what it just hit me as you guys were talking, where in some way it's like just turn that. You can do this anywhere at like a thrift night or like thrifted tea night, thrifted tea, whatever. And then it's an interesting way to I don't know, get people in like a bar.
Yeah.
Or,
I love that.
like a theme.
Yeah. So we're thinking about doing, well, we are doing, I'm not thinking about doing it, is a thrift crawl.
Yeah,
So
nice.
we'll get a bus. We'll get all these people on board. We've already got a list of people that want to come on the bus.
That's so fun.
We'll have party games on the bus that are geared towards thrifting.
Yeah.
And then we go out and thrift, and we show them all these stores. And, you know, because it's not, this whole thing is not about just about us, or it's not about us at all. No. It's about changing this whole dynamic around thrifting.
I just thought, like, in my head, like, this would be the most amazing documentary where you guys go to, like, Goodwill, get all the stuff they're throwing away. Then you partner with Sears or some mall, and then you do a rebrand. Like, you set up a crazy store.
That's what we've done.
You fill the store up with the stuff that everyone was going to throw away. Basically, it's called landfilled goods, right?
Yeah.
And then you just market it, and then you just tell the people after they buy what just happened.
That's exactly what, you know what's so weird what you just said, just on a smaller scale, because we didn't get a Sears warehouse in the beginning.
Yeah.
But if you see pictures of the store, the brick and mortar, it's only, how many square feet?
1,200?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this lady is so amazing at merchandising, and everything in there, and you can explain, is repurposed from our price tags being Monopoly money to Uno cards to.
It's not allowed to come in unless it's
That's cool.
used.
Yeah.
So we have, like, you know, I mounted chairs on the wall that act as like the hangers for the clothing, you know. So, like, just doing different things that, you know, I like to change it up all the time. So it's constantly changing.
Wow.
We
That's
use
so
old
cool.
ladders. We, you know.
45s is dividers.
45s is our dividers.
Okay. That's really cool.
So just anything we can find to reuse
Yeah.
is what we're doing.
And everything was
Okay.
purchased from thrift stores.
Totally.
Last point of contact, so exactly what you said.
Yeah.
That and people think, oh well, all the good stuff is going to be sold. If 80% of what ends up being donated ends up in landfill or overseas, there's tons, you would be surprised, of good stuff that still ends up. They don't have the manpower or
Right.
the place to do it. So we're rescuing it and giving it a second life, a second chance, second story. And then the landfill project is what really is resonating and creating sort of a movement. We get people that like sit and hang, and we get repeats like every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, the other thing we're doing is a community rack.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, the little libraries where you could leave a book, take a book.
Oh.
We're doing that with clothing.
Wow.
So we have a community rack in the store where someone comes in with something they're done with,
Yeah.
hang it on the rack, and they take something they like.
I love
So
that.
that's
Jeez.
really taken off too. It's like, you know, because
we're
that's
really
free.
good.
It's free.
Yeah. I'd be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like shirts like this, and they're for some reason so hard to get.
Just white?
Yeah, just plain. just plain.
Like literally. Like
Plain
I don't like
t-shirts.
logos. I don't like
No?
brand.
Are they
no.
Hanes?
Are they Hanes?
What brand
The
are they?
brand? I mean, I'm not even.
You don't even
You don't
care?
care.
I don't even
like
care.
that.
I just
Yeah.
like, is it comfortable?
That's great.
And if yes, I wear it. That's it. So, okay, this is amazing. What's on deck for you guys? Like, what are you guys hyper focused about for Q3, Q4 of this
We've
year?
got online launching,
Okay,
and our online will
e-com.
be also completely different and about the movement.
Are you gonna
our
borrow
online-
a URL?
What's that?
No, just kidding.
Yeah.
We thrifted a URL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
one.
Goodwill.com.
We're gonna be taking
Well,
over.
you'll also be able to purchase on our website via pounds. So, you know, sometimes people just want to give
Oh,
to
no
the
way.
movement, not, of course, like, especially
This is
trends
it.
and
This
stuff
is
like that.
interesting. I like this.
Trends and stuff like that, yes, they're always going to be there. But, like, we want people to be able to go on and go, okay, I want to save £5 from the landfill today.
Yeah.
What can I buy that saves £5?
Right.
So everything on there will be listed by its weight.
Prepackaged into weight, and so there's
Yeah, we're going to do some prepackaged stuff. Some will be like, you know, this
Wow.
dress weighs 1.2 pounds or whatever it is. And you
you assemble
see how
it.
much you're saving from
From the
landfill by
landfill.
pounds. Yeah.
That's
so-
so smart.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's our next
I mean, yeah, that's
big
amazing.
thing. I mean,
That's
Okay.
our.
it's
both
a
of
lot.
us,
There's a
all of
lot
it.
going on there with the website.
I just like the
So-
commitment to it. You know, it's the commitment to the metric and getting
Yeah.
the community behind the metric. Most companies, you know, they'll have like a metric internally, but
Mm-hmm.
you're making that metric.
Everything's
the
about
whole
being
brand
transparent.
is externally
Yeah.
facing, and everyone's
Yeah.
behind the one metric, not just
Yeah.
the internal people. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's smart.
The
So that's the
donation
next
thing.
thing. And the donation, changing the way people think about donations is a really big thing for us too.
Okay.
You know, because I've been behind the scenes at a thrift store and seen like what happens there. And the thrift store that I'm the president of is actually a mum and papa from the 1960s.
Okay.
Has an amazing following. We don't increase prices. Very rarely, just to cover our rent. Like if our rent goes up, we increase prices here and there. But it's not all about, okay, because we can get this much,
Right.
well, then let's do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of the bigger box thrift stores, unfortunately, we see that happening, right? So that everything's still donated.
Yeah.
So why is there this, let's up the price? So we'd actually like to mandate and lobby for donation prices.
Okay.
In thrift stores. So you go into any thrift store,
Yep.
and if you want a pair of pants, it's X amount of dollars. It doesn't matter which thrift store you're going to.
Well, based on region, obviously, and Coca-Cola. and
That's
all that.
cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, because if it's being donated, so we're going out, and this is why we see it, because we're the crazy ones that actually go out and pay for it at the thrift store, only
Yeah.
charge a little bit more, not a lot, because it's volume focused. And so we see that, and then all of a sudden we're going to different thrift stores, and it was, say, $5, and all of a sudden it's $9. They raise the price.
Yeah.
What is that differentiation? What's that? Why? Cola, I'm sorry, your rent didn't go up that much to make it that drastic.
Let me give you guys some inside baseball. This is going to be really interesting. I never thought I'd tell this story. So I was at a board meeting with Goodwill randomly, like an observer. And I'm in there. And the problem they were facing was minimum wages going up in Los Angeles. I think Goodwill has a number of distribution plants, right? And they're not in the business as a nonprofit of letting people go. But this increase of minimum wage meant over 2,000 employees is significant to the business. And so then Goodwill is looking at it like this. They don't want to fire people because that's not the business they're in.
Yep.
So how do we keep the staff but offset the minimum wage by getting essentially the same amount of work but like less time? And so keep the workers, just give them less time. And what they arrived at, the answer was a consolidation of distribution houses. And so now, instead of moving one, like the clothing going from, let's say, downtown LA to West Hollywood, let's say, now it's just one distribution center, which means the employees are in the car less. They're doing less deliveries. And this offsets the minimum wage. Really interesting. And so I'm just giving you the perspective of sometimes the scale for these people on pricing is as simple as a minimum wage increase, and it's a headline risk for a Goodwill to lay off like 1,000 people.
Yeah, no, and
it was really interesting to hear.
That is
Like,
actually,
really
I'll have
interesting.
I'd like to pick your brain more on that
Yeah.
after. But
Yeah.
where we were talking about this in the car is, there's no, like, we're all trying to do good, right, in our own ways.
Totally,
yeah.
The problem is helping the community right now isn't the only issue. It has to be done. And there's got to be, so all these charities and helping, certain, like helping with jobs, disabled?
Yeah.
They do, I don't know
exactly.
exactly what they do. But the only issue that we're forgoing or we're not looking at is the environment, the cost of fast fashion.
Yeah.
Because when you say the cost of fast fashion, when you have to ask yourself at what cost? At the cost of our kids' future, at the cost of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a balance. There's got to
Yeah.
be some people doing what, say, the Goodwills and some of those are doing. If, everybody's got their own judgments. I don't judge. It's whatever's happened.
Yeah.
But there has to be this other side of things now.
Yeah.
Things are moving too fast.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
used to have 4 seasons a year. Now we have 365 due to fast fashion.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
our biggest thing is to stop things ending up in landfills.
Yeah.
And we're
love
we're
that.
developing ways that we can make that way less than it is now.
Yeah.
The people in Ghana and stuff, they're walking around in textile waste in their
Totally.
oceans. Like, it's
Yeah.
insane. And, we always have this thing, like, before we leave the planet, we want to make sure there's a planet for our children
Yeah.
to actually exist on.
Yeah.
And I know that probably sounds like way out there, like, as if there's not going to be a planet, but it's reality.
I mean, Elon's trying to get us to go to Mars. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't ignore the waste.
Right,
And what
you
you
can't
say
ignore
is,
it. It has
we
to go
have
somewhere.
6 generations of clothes already out there.
Right now.
6 generations.
Crazy.
It takes 1,800 gallons of water to make one pair of adult cotton jeans to grow the cotton. That's equivalent to like a little less than 9 years of drinking water for one person.
Wow.
So when you think about all of this, so that's so that when you go to
Yeah.
the last quote that I said I love 2 quotes is, the 2 most important days in your life, what do you think?
Oh God, what do I think?
This is a test.
Today.
The 2 most important days.
We know you're going to want us back again, but we're only going to come back if you can answer this right.
I'm a romantic, so I think one of them's the day you get married. I'm just gonna. And then the day you have a kid.
Okay, I'm not.
Those are
I like
great
those.
answers. Holy
That
shit.
is-
They're really good.
That is really good. I've never said
You're gonna top those?
Well, in a non.
Who's your favorite child?
Well, my kids ask me that
While
every
we're
day.
on it, yeah.
Yeah, and
It's not
apparently.
Gavin.
I know. All right, good one.
That's
I
a
like
callback
that.
to a Zoom reference earlier, where when she logged in, it says Gavin.
is my
least
well
favorite
because my
son.
sons like to joke
Yeah.
around. It's the day you're born
Okay, that sounds self-serving.
and the day you find out why.
Ooh.
And this
Is our
is our why.
And when did you find that out?
Did we just give you the?
No, but when did you find out?
So no, I don't get those.
Well, you might. I'm coming. When did you find that out for you? When did you find out why?
I found out why. I think I started learning the day I had kids.
Yep.
Because you just know it's not about me
It's
anymore.
not about you, yeah.
It's not about me anymore.
That's a
There's
real
no
one.
selfish needs.
Yeah.
And then when I started, I didn't have confidence for many years in wealth management, very male-dominated field. Towards the end, when it became partner and all of that is when I got confidence. So the last 4 or 5 years, I just said, I'm going to learn as much as I can, and then I'm going to go out and make a difference. And I just knew that it had to be fashion and knew it had to be, because it was something I was good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And between
Your skills were.
kids and my skills and taking the time, yeah.
I love it. And how about for you?
I would say when I met Kim, like that was a big thing for me. It's like, wow, now I've met someone that shares this huge passion that I've always had.
Yeah.
But never was. I'm not like a big risk taker, so I'm risk adverse and she's not. That's why we work really well together.
Yeah, that's great.
So she'll take a lot of the risk, but I'm there like riding along. Like I've got you.
She's
I've
amazing.
got you.
She's organized. I'm not.
Yeah.
We've got tons of ideas. We're texting at night. What about this? Let's put this in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.
Yeah.
But I'm not organized.
So that's definitely my why about this whole movement is like meeting her and like just
Yeah.
connecting on the same level and just
Yeah.
knowing that this has a power. This has a real.
Yeah. It's a movement.
Yeah.
I love it.
And she just, like, sometimes I'll call her just to relax because she's just got a great voice and spirit to her.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's just, the partnership is just, it's, I don't even know what to say.
I love this.
Yeah.
This is so good.
Yeah.
Well, look, tell people where they can support, where they can go to your business,
Oh, you pointing to me?
Yeah, you go.
where they can save pounds, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, save pounds from going to the landfill.
Yeah, it's Project ReWear. We have a brick and mortar store in Thousand Oaks, 2940 East Thousand Oaks Boulevard in Thousand Oaks. Website, and we have the e-commerce launching very soon, is projectrewear.com. And if you subscribe to our newsletter, you'll be the first to know when we do our first drop on the website. And then very exciting in the next few months. Once we get the warehouse set up, we'll be doing personal styling sessions, repairing
Oh, nice.
purposes,
Wow.
fashion shows, a whole bunch of things.
I
So-
love
And
it.
eventually you'll find us at the mall.
That's a great
we
idea.
will be
We'll
the
be there.
mall.
That's a great
Yeah.
idea. I can't wait to see that. Well, thank you guys for
Yeah.
coming on the
Oh,
podcast.
thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Really
us.
appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, share with your friends, your family, or anyone you might think might benefit from the conversation we've had today. And if you haven't already, please take a moment to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. We'd greatly appreciate it. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more people who can benefit from our discussions. The best way to stay connected with us and get the latest updates on future episodes is through our social media channels. You can find us at Startup Storefront. We'll be back next Tuesday with another great episode. See you then.